vaping community, blah, 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 blah. What is going on, guys? MD Vapes here, and about 6 years ago I embarked on this journey through the vaping community, learning many different tricks and many different ways to do them, and it's gotten to the point that I said, what the hell am I doing? It's finally time that I teach all of you guys the secrets that I have learned throughout the years. So yeah, welcome to Wizardry 101 with MD Vapes. And today, we're going to be tackling the topic of how to do big O's. Let's dive into it. So just for the record, before I do go in, there are many different techniques to do big O's. This is just my technique that I found worked the best for me. You may notice that it doesn't work the best for you, but hey, that's just what tricking is all about, is finding that one technique that does truly work best for the mouth and power of cough that you are using. The first thing I wanted to point out is just the differentiation from a regular coughing O opposed to what I do with my tire technique. When I'm coughing a regular O, I stay in a stationary position and lock my hands behind my mouth, and as I cough I begin to move my hands, and by the time the O has reached my actual mouth and is departed from there, my hands are right behind it to follow it, and I actually wait until my arms have fully been extended to begin walking with the O. And the difference between that and the tire technique is, with the tire technique, the cough is a lot different. It's opposed to it's more of a lot more harder of a cough. I also do, when I make that cough, I add a very, very slight inhale to it. So it's kind of like, what that does is really just make that O extremely firm, defined, and will have that spirals going throughout it. When I am blowing my tire technique, I like to take a couple steps before I actually do push the O to just increase the speed that the O is initially coming out at. I do that. I keep my hands a little bit closer than I would when I'm pushing a regular O, and I take my 2 steps, and when I push, I cough and bring it down into my chest, but I don't extend my arms. I don't extend my arms though. I keep my arms locked like this, and doing that will allow the O to be affected by the surface area of your body. If you look at your hands, they create decent surface area, but nothing like a ginormous body will. In doing that, that'll force the O's rotations to expand farther and farther apart at a lot faster pace, and still retaining most of its speed, so you can do jellyfishes, lassos, and all other sorts of tricks with it. That is basically it on the words on how to do big O's. Now I'm going to show you guys some of the actual tips, tricks, and techniques to getting them out, getting them crisp, and getting them fat. I also wanted to show you guys the difference between my regular cough and my tire technique, just so you guys can get a visualization of what I'm talking about and everything I just said. So that's a regular cough. And then this is a tire cough. Just to give you guys a little bit of a side visualization of what I just showed you, here is the regular pushing technique. And then here's the tire technique. A lot more fast pace, a lot more rotations on the actual O, and a lot more of a capability to make that boy into a big-ass 18-wheeler tire. So now I'm just going to show you guys kind of a couple examples of me actually taking them from the back of my studio all the way to the camera. So yeah, let's dive on in. So that's my tire technique, and another main point that I wanted to tell you guys is you need to have resonance with the actual O. Some of you may not know what that means, but I'll explain it to you. So when you actually cough the O out, the first 5 feet of the O are the O's fastest time, where it's spinning the fastest, moving the fastest. That's why I do those first 2 steps in the beginning, because I want to match the speed I'm moving with the speed of the O. It'll make it really expand a lot in the beginning, and I only take about 3 steps once I've actually coughed the O out, that are those fast-paced steps, and then I very quickly kind of slow down to like half the speed I was initially going, and in doing that, I'm kind of just setting up the O to be able to travel a lot farther of a distance. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys a couple more examples of the big O, show you some stuff you can do with it, and then give you one more lowdown, and then that's it.
Sometimes I feel like a star, but only strictly where I'm famous. I'm in this for the longest haul, like we'll see where it takes us. I'm throwing back these double shots like whiskey here is weightless. Cause this career I chose was even riskier than Vegas. Yo, you play and no one's in the crowd like it's Pistons Bucks. Burning sour down for all the days I pissed and...
And that is how to do my tire technique. Just want to reiterate some of the main points with it. When you do make the cough, it is a lot harder of a cough. Still coming from your diaphragm, but when I do mine, I do a slight inhale on the cough. So it's like, it just helps increase the firmness and density of the O. When I do cough it, I like to take 2 to 3 steps in the beginning to increase the speed that the O is initially coming out at. When I do cough it out, I bring my head slightly down to help decrease the distance that it has to travel to my body. The other thing too is I do not extend my arms and keep them locked in to help use the surface area of my body. I also take my hands and give them a slight curve in to help make a sort of like a expanded C. That'll also help keep the O expanding a lot faster. Once you do cough the O out and take those first 3 fast steps, you do want to cut your speed in half to help push the O farther. That's basically it on the tire technique. It's all about practice, all about messing around with it. Honestly, took me about 5 months to really perfect my technique. It's really something that you have to work on. You're not necessarily going to have my exact tire technique. You may need to change it a little bit to help it better apply to yourself. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. Shoot me a follow on Instagram. My tag is MD_vapes. I'm also going to put a link to that in the description. And then also, don't forget to tap on that subscribe button. It means the world to me, and this is something that I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I'm really happy that I'm finally starting my series on tutorials. There's going to be a lot more. Give me some feedback. Tell me what tricks you guys want to learn. I want to show you guys and teach you guys every single trick I know to do so you guys can aspire to be whatever you do want to be. And with that, I wish you all a very, very happy day, to make the best of it, and to keep smiling. Yeah, I gotta go take a shit.